What should you absolutely never FCK with? Electricity that hums. Moose. They are mean bastards and are way bigger than most people realize. Also, if you happen to hit one with your car, you're most likely gonna die, as they are big enough you just take their legs out from under them and then they land in your lap. All 1,200 pounds of them. A mother bear or mountain lion? Or a ducking hippo? What about a regular hippo? The chickens in Skyrim. Video game chickens in general are always a risky thing to duck with. Meth is a hell of a drug. I've lost some good friends to that demon of a drug, and my husband is currently battling addiction. I've experimented with some substances, but meth and heroin are two that I will never touch. Your best friend's S/O. Or your S/OS best friend. Or your S/OS best friend's S/O. Wasps. The DVD/VCR tape you found hidden in your parents' bedroom. Cartels or mafia. Fe'd love to torture someone for their intimidation videos. I read intimate videos. Was like, oh yeah, makes sense. Bad idea to steal and spread a mobster's nudes. Apostrophe. Hey boss, I've got some new material for you to check out. Jazz music starts playing. The pancreas. Haha. The cardinal rule of surgery. Do not duck with the pancreas. The US Postal Service. Kramer knows this one well. Benzodiazepines. I had a small prescription for anxiety in college. That lead to buying them on the street. Because it's my prescription, I need them. Can't remember an entire year of my life and lost a lot in the process. I bought a strip of those a while back and finished it off in no time. Like vacation up in my noggin. Immediately understood why they're so addictive. Doesn't give you a high or anything, but the absence of anxiety. I can see why people get hooked. I haven't gotten many more strips. Seems like a bad idea. You know that feeling you get when you absolutely don't trust someone but can't figure why? Well, if you're like me, don't duck with that. It's better to make a wrong assumption and someone turn out a nice person than you end up in a horrible situation for being too optimistic/burying impulsive instincts. The springs that help raise your garage door. Those things are like a bomb going off if you do the wrong thing. Minors. Pretty self-explanatory. According to a doc on Netflix. Cats. Boy, that one was a ducking ride. Anything natural gas in your home. Rattlesnakes and condoms. Someone's never used a rattlesnake as a condom, so it doesn't need batteries to vibrate. Eco-friendly. A man with a perm. Electricity. What? That's how I make my living. Making it do what I tell it to. Trains. If one rolls over your leg, you won't bleed too much. The sheer weight will just flattens the wounds and pinches off the blood vessels. Unfortunately, it also means everything is so damaged that it would be impossible to reattach. Canadian geese. Just never ever act intimidated and try to keep distance from nests and you're fine. I used to get hissed and flapped at on the regular. Just stand up tall and keep on walking like a badass. They sound menacing, but they usually won't attack if you don't give them the upper hand. Curling into a ball and squealing as you retreat is the exact wrong approach. I also like to mock them if they get extra mouthy. Oh, you mad bro? You angry? Get the F out ta here! Exclamation mark. They're not at all used to getting their attitude right back. We once had a duck with Canadian geese energy and we had to out-macho him any time he waddled his feathered face into the barn. And you feel ridiculous because he looked like that very nice duck meme. He was not a nice duck at all. Me, please. I've had such a year as is. People that handle your food. I never understood people who treat their waitstaff poorly. It's like, dude, they handle your food and they know 101 ways to duck with it in ways you will never know about. If you have a problem, be nice. That should just be the way we are no matter what. But even more so when these people handle stuff you put inside you. Wu-Tang Clan. The eyes. unless you plan to or are paying them regularly. So last year, as a condition of my divorce, I got stuck with a $4,200 tax bill, the result of my ex not filing for 3 years. Yes, I was quite fortunate. Thank you. I suspect that their collections and their accounts receivable departments don't talk to each other, since one day I could receive a letter with a newer, lowered amount on it. Then the next I could get a letter saying they were about to put a lien on my house. For 7 months, I had just been lobbing $500-700 checks at them, until they finally went, wait, that's enough. In November I called them, and the very nice representative indicated that my debt was free and clear. Best Thanksgiving ever. In fact, they rolled that extra amount into my return this year, and between that cash and my stimulus check, I was able to buy a nice hot tub. Oh, that's nice at the end there. Yeah, but even drug dealers and shit don't duck with the eyes, and that's why they launder their money, lol. The ocean. Garage door springs. Oh, I never knew this until I had one break. I was in my house and heard the loudest bang ever. I was thinking maybe a gunshot or explosion, but I knew it came from my garage. Once I realized my door wouldn't open and called for repairs, the dude told me how deadly that could have been. I never even knew. Had to have the entire thing overhauled for safety. Was built in 1957, and it was a lot of money. Not money I was expecting to spend, but well worth it once I learned. I can't even describe how loud that sound was, so I definitely know how much force caused that. Scary shit. Honey badgers. Bears, all of them. Isn't the old saying, if it's black fight back, if it's brown lie down, if it's white sit tight and wait for the light, cause polar bears are ducking merciless. Heroin. To pose. Polar bears are often regarded as one of the only, if not the only, animals that actively hunt humans. No, that doesn't just mean if you get close to one. Watch your back. That means even if you get away from them, they will try to smell your tracks and hunt you. This can reportedly go on for miles. Oh, and it doesn't help that they're the largest bears in the world at 11 feet tall on their hind legs and weigh about 700 pounds on average. Not to mention they can run fast and rip you to shreds. Luckily, they're only in a select handful of areas in the world. Yep, don't duck with polar bears. I feel like that's just given knowledge that a species should possess. Don't duck with an apex predator that's already half stuffed and tangles with the likes of walruses. Like if you possess any shred of instinct you won't duck with polar bears. I just don't understand how people can duck with bears. A Sicilian when death is on the line. Drug cartels. Marijuana plant in the middle of a forest. Gym. You don't mess around with gym. Unless you're slim. You don't mess around with slim. A meat grinder. Had a guy almost lose his arm in the meat department I worked at for a couple years. Our grinders were medium commercial units used for making fresh grind at a grocery store. They have an interlock switch on the lid so when it's open they shut off, but they still have to spin down. It got about a revolution on the mixing blades after the door was opened when near empty. Our extremely smart dumbus was running a batch, and near the end some bits get stuck in the corners and you have to scrape them out. No big deal, shut down the machine. Wait for it stop, open the lid, and clean the corners. He instead decided to just pop the lid open and attempt to reach in and dodge the mixing arms. His hand got caught between the hopper and the mixing arm, and he was pulled in until the machine stopped. He was 3 inches from losing the arm because the other blade on the arm was coming down. Managed to just deglove his hand. The local was able to stitch him up pretty good. Never FCK with trust. Your freedom. By doing a crime. Your spouse. As you are in a partnership for life. The police. Lodge a complaint later. Your health. Your youthful health can only carry you so far. Drugs. Some are life destroying. Money. Doesn't make you happier, but makes life easier. Mother Nature. Mother-in-laws. And mother duck in Ukrainians. Meth. Even if you survive meth addiction, your brain is both mush and dopamine deficient. And your teeth are mush, too. John Wick dog. Rattlesnake. Methylmercury. A single drop on your skin kills you. Slowly. Over the next 6 months it accumulates in your brain and gradually destroys your mind. By the end, you'll lose all motor coordination, memory, and logic. This sad fate happened once to a scientist back in the 90s. The worst part is that it dropped on her gloved hand. Because methylmercury goes right through gloves. Another man's livelihood. There are 3 things you don't duck with when it comes to people. Their sleep, their food, their money. Fuck with any one of those and the reaction will always be an overreaction. Azula of the Fire Nation. She is one tough bitch. And crazy too. Don't mess with crazy, even if they aren't powerful firebenders. Don't duck with electricity. You can't smell it, see it, but it can be made visible. Taste it, hear it, but if you touch it, it will more than likely be the last thing you touch. Besides Wu-Tang, I'd say electricity is the most dangerous thing on earth. I was installing a TV antenna on October 23, 2011. The antenna pole broke and landed on the 3-phase overhead power line. I was holding the antenna. It caused 3 road-degree burns on my hands, feet and hips. My left big toe had to be removed. 49 weeks in the Birmingham, Alabama burn unit. 12 surgeries later. I can tell you, don't fuck with electricity. Hey, on the plus side, you can say you went 3 rounds with Zeus or Thor and lived to tell the tale. Wu-Tang Clan. Australian summer. Do not go outside at midday in Australian summer unless you enjoy heat stroke and possible death. 3rd degree sunburn. Cancer. Fat soluble vitamins. They build up in your system and are super hard to get rid of. I've been on vitamin D since I'm deficient, and I very quickly reached levels of toxicity and now have hypercalcemia, since I've never had proper levels of vitamin D before. This overdose is not only giving me extreme happiness, but also all of the symptoms of hypercalcemia: sweating, intermittent nausea, loss of appetite, increased heart rate. None of my symptoms are enough to warrant a trip to the doctor. I've checked and am fine. Close bracket. Pros: lost 15 pounds and feels like I've been on Molly for 5 days. Cons: lost 15 pounds and feels like I've been on Molly for 5 days. Wild animals. No matter how cute they are, even if they approach you. My asshole. Unless you're a doctor. Or Danny DeVito. Upvote for DeVito. Bulls in general, because those duckers can duck your shit up. How's the sign go again? If you hop this fence, you'd better be able to run across this pasture in 10 seconds. The bull can do it in 9. Apostrophe. No one should mess with piano strings. If you see a ring of quaint, cute looking mushrooms in a forest clearing like something out of fairy tale, treat it a nuclear ducking hazard. Superstitious or not, we don't duck with fairy circles. Waiters/waitresses or anyone who handles your food. Alligators and crocodiles. Cottonmouths. Period. All the southeastern US people know what I'm talking about. The saying "don't mess with the quiet kid at school" seems to apply here. The one that's constantly being picked on and bullied. There may come a time when that person's gonna have enough and inevitably snap one day, and sometimes in the worst way. You just can't keep ducking with people and expect nothing to happen. Same could be said for adults in the workforce. Wildlife in Australia. Huntsman spiders, massive snakes, jellyfish, the list goes on. Australian redditors. Yeah, all got some real crazy wildlife. Plastic surgery on your body/face. That is not something to skimp on. Buffalo and moose. They will absolutely wreck everything you love and hold dear, including the deer. Any of the people between you and your paycheck. People who handle your food, electricity, garage door springs. Bears. They can kill you in an instant. People in general. You don't know where they've been or what they know. and lots of people are more badass than they look. That 5'5" 140 pound man that rarely speaks, could know Muay Thai. The pudgy short dude in your class could be easily benching 405 4Fs. The liver spotted senior citizen with a glass eye could be a hardened Vietnam veteran with 30 plus confirmed kills. People should be given their due respect and not trifled with. You don't duck with a Jesus, a grenade, or anything explosive. Quantum mechanics. I'm sorry I ever got involved in the first place. Erwin Schrödinger. Cats. Trust because it takes time to build and seconds to destroy. Drunk driving. Now I'm not talking about driving after a couple of beers, but being fully drunk and almost losing control. Now most of us have done it, but when I finally experienced what drunk driving actually is, it scared the shit out of me. I was shooting a menu for a new restaurant, and it happened to be the day of the launch party. The mixologist knew me and sent me some weird ass drink that knocked my socks off initially, and later I got even more drunk with other people I knew there. I had to drive back from there to my house, which is like a 25-kilometer drive. I only remember the moments of leaving that place and some time before I arrived at my house. Everything in between was a total blackout and still is a mystery today. Now I could have killed anyone on the road and not even remember it. I have never driven drunk again after that incident. Squirrels. Heroin. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.